Hey everybody, how's it going? So a while back, I did this video on a new UK e-commerce tax policy where I explained why it was that I was no longer going to be selling to the UK. So what the UK was doing was, rather than collect customs duties from their citizens when items come into the country, they wanted me to collect value-added tax, like sales tax, from their citizens, and then I keep track of it, I log it all, and then I submit it to their government at a later date. So in New York City, if you make a purchase from me, I collect 8.875% sales tax, and then my QuickBooks keeps track of all the items that are sales taxable and whatnot, and then at the end of the quarter, I submit that sales tax to New York City government. Now, the argument made here is that we're benefiting from the schools. I live here, the schools suck. We benefit from the roads. I live here, the roads suck. We're benefiting from the bureaucracy. I live here, the bureaucracy sucks. But at the very least, the argument could be made that the taxes are going towards services and things that I utilize and that I benefit from. Again, much argument there on many of it, but that's the basic principle and framework. So I collect these taxes because I live and do business here, and then I submit them. And where I drew the line was with what the UK was doing, because I don't live in the UK. I'm not a resident in the UK. I'm not a business in the UK. So it's one of those things where it's not my job to collect taxes from your citizens to fund your government. If you want to fund your government with taxes from your citizens, then you can collect it from your citizens, not me. And in this video, I went over the fact that there were a number of things that added to this decision. So, for the most part, a good 40 to 50% of my first-class mail international packages were lost. Almost every time somebody contacts me and says, I bought something from store.rossmangroup.com and it's lost, it was always someplace in Europe. It was always an international shipment, almost every time. Secondly, it's going to be extra work now for me to do those sales that were already barely profitable because of the amount of first-class mail that gets lost. And people would say, well, why don't you use DHL? I mean, the whole reason people don't use that is because we're selling chips that are $2 here, $4 here, $8 there. Nobody wants to pay DHL if they're international. It's first-class mail and a PayPal claim the moment that they don't get it. So this was something that wasn't really profitable, but I did it because I didn't want to say no to people who watch the channel or enjoy the stuff who are in the UK. Eventually, it was losing enough that I just said we're only going to deal with priority or express mail for international, and that kind of made people kind of sad, kind of mad. And then I got this notification where it said that I now need to register with the UK government in order and start collecting sales tax from your citizens. Keep track of that number in my bookkeeping software, and then remember to submit it using your online portal. And that's where I said no. That's just, I draw the line there for a number of reasons. So there's this is going to sound hypocritical, because one of the things that I've said at the store many times is that the one thing that you can say that will get you immediately fired is, that's not my job. I despise that saying. When COVID struck and there were people that wanted to stay home to avoid the potential of getting COVID or spreading COVID to their families, I did their jobs and I paid them their full salary. I have done every single job there is to do at this store at some point in time, whether it is doing customer service, taking 6 phone calls at once, doing board repair, doing keyboard replacements, doing MacBook Air screen repairs, being the janitor, cleaning the bathroom. Every single job, whether they're the cool jobs or the shitty jobs, I've done them at this store for a long period of time. So when somebody says that's not my job, it really bothers me in this at this guttural level. At the same time, I'm a resident of New York City in the United States of America, collecting taxes for UK citizens that for the UK government is not my job. Like, it's not my country. When someone who works at this company says it's not my job to change the toilet paper in the bathroom when it's the last roll, I'm not the janitor. Yeah, but you work at this company, and you want, when you go to the bathroom, for there to be toilet paper there when you take a shit. It's part, I mean, you don't own the company, but you work here in some way, shape, or form. It is your company, and you are using the resource of the toilet paper. You're using the toilet, so don't you want the toilet paper to be there for when the next person walks in? I don't live in the UK. I don't go to school in the UK, use the roads in the UK, deal with bureaucracy in the UK. If you want to collect taxes from your citizens, that's a you job, UK government. Not mine. So I stopped selling to the UK, and a lot of people ask me, what are you going to do when the UK implements this rule 6 months from now? And it looks like they did. So I just got this email that says, Dear Stamps.com customer, we're reaching out to you to let you know about changes within the European Union that may impact the shipping experience for you and your recipients. What's changing? Effective July 1st, 2021, EU member states will collect value-added tax for all goods entering the EU. The VAT ranges from 17% to 27% depending on the EU member state, not including any applicable duties or fees. What do you need to do? To help prevent your EU-bound shipments from being delayed, held, returned, or abandoned, we recommend the following. Let shoppers know whether VAT, duties, and fees will be paid during the checkout process, blah, blah, blah. Collect the recipient's phone number, email, etc. Collect VAT during checkout process and remit monthly payments to participating EU member states via the Import One-Stop Shop electronic portal. This requires contracting with an EU-based tax intermediary as well as an IOSS registration as described in the official EU page. And here's where I check out completely. There's numerous reasons for this. The first is that with the shipping, things are getting lost all the time. It's not really that profitable. And now I need to register and keep track. Now, on a fundamental principled level, I don't understand how it is my job as an American citizen to collect tax for someone in the EU, for a government in the EU, where I am not receiving health care, I am not using the roads, I'm not using the education system. But B, if this works, now I have to collect taxes for the UK and log them separately. I have to collect taxes for the EU and log them and remit them separately. I have to collect taxes for New York City sales tax and log and remit those separately. So now that would already be 3 territories that have 3 separate taxes that must be remitted to 3 separate online portals. Now, imagine if every single country in the world decided that the international seller needs to collect a specific VAT tax from their citizens, keep track of that in their bookkeeping software, and then remit it to a website. For all I know, I could be stuck by the end of the year having to remit taxes to 80 different countries that I have customers in. So 80 different countries with 80 different online portals and 80 different VAT rates, all so that I can sell 1 or 2 chips to someone in Germany once a month. That makes no sense. The 50 cents that I'm going to make in profit off of that one order is not worth my time to register on these websites. And the issue here, aside from just the principled issue, is, well, the biggest issue that I see with all of this, and I'll put a timestamp below because admittedly I should have put this in the beginning of the video, it's a failure of me that I'm putting it this late in the video, is you hear a lot when it comes to EU regulators about monopolies. You hear a lot about antitrust. You hear a lot about how they really want to go after Google and Apple and Amazon and the big guys for hurting the little guy. At the end of the day, a lot of times, people will hide their defenses for horrible anti-competitive practices behind a free market ideology of not hurting the little guy. They'll pretend they care about the little guy as a shield to care about themselves. But here, what this is going to wind up doing is meaning that Amazon is probably going to be doing a lot more sales to the EU than small businesses. A small business like mine, where we get maybe 3 or 4 or 5 international customers a month, and when they lose 1 or 2 of those orders, it destroys the profit from the other 3. We're not going to register and deal with this system. It doesn't make financial sense to do so. It's not enough of our business to be something that makes sense. But you know who will register? Amazon and eBay, because it makes sense to them to register, because they have so many people selling to the EU, which means that many people will just wind up purchasing these items through Amazon and eBay, further increasing the profits of multi-billion-dollar companies at the expense of small businesses where this is not something that makes sense to comply with. So you hear a lot of rhetoric on not being for large trusts, not being for these multi-billion-dollar companies, but this piece of legislation is a piece of legislation, in my opinion, that is going to directly cause many small businesses like mine to say, screw this, I'm not dealing with any of this. You know, they log into their Magento backend and just deselect the EU because they rarely, if ever, get sales there, and it doesn't make sense for them to register this, set up their website to accept sales tax for the 1 or 5 sales a month they get, and that customer is then probably going to go to Amazon to buy something instead of buying it from the small business, where you're helping Jeff Bezos make money rather than a small business. Who are the people that are going to continue to sell there? Amazon, eBay, the very large companies that I often hear EU regulators say that they want to clamp down on. But at the end of the day, they are going to comply with all of this because they are large multi-billion-dollar companies, and it makes sense for them to comply with it because of the amount of volume business they have. Whereas a vendor in Canada or Kansas or New York or Florida or Georgia that may get 2 or 4 international orders a month, they may sell some sort of niche product that you can't get in the UK, that you can't get in Germany. There are certain chips that I sell that you cannot buy at any vendor in the EU because there are no vendors in the EU selling this stuff. It's either you buy it from me or you go to Skype from someone from China, where you're not dealing with an add to cart button and the customer service may be a little lackluster. That business is not going to modify how they do business in order to service 3 or 4 customers a month because it makes no financial sense. The 20 minutes that they're going to spend or the hour they're going to spend just figuring out how to add this to their website and add a new tax rate to their QuickBooks is literally not worth the $10 in profit that they make. But that means that now there's an opening for that item to be sold on eBay or Amazon, which means that more of the purchases are going to be done through eBay and Amazon, which means that the guy who is worth over $100 billion, who runs one of the world's largest companies that people are often saying is becoming a monopoly, is going to get more sales. Which makes no sense to me. It drives me nuts when I read about legislation like this from the same groups that tend to say that it's bad that Amazon monopolize everything. Because I don't think it's good that Amazon monopolize everything. I agree with them that Amazon should monopolize everything. So why come out with legislation that incentivizes small businesses to say, I'm not dealing with you? Because again, I'm cutting the cord now. And when I cut the cord with the UK, people said it's silly that you think this is going to happen with every other country, but okay, I have to submit taxes to New York City, the EU, and the UK, and 2 out of 3 of those don't provide services to me, my family, my children, and never will? Again, even if I was making money from those customers, like real tangible money, not just a few dollars a month that winds up getting destroyed once the items get lost by shipping, just from a principled point of view, explain to me why it's my responsibility to collect taxes from your citizens, to fund your government, to fund your services that I'm never going to use. It's a ridiculous level of arrogance that I don't want to be involved in. So I'm turning off EU shipping on my site. I want nothing to do with this until this is reversed. It likely won't be reversed, so I'll probably do a follow-up video for people from the EU where I tell you all where you can buy some of the items I sell on my website. I'm not in this to get my core business was really providing repair services. I didn't really get into the selling chips business because I wanted to get rich doing it. I did it because it was a pain in the ass to find a place to buy chips from. So I'll probably do a follow-up video at some point where I include some contacts to the people that I sell this stuff from. If any of you are interested in buying from China, they probably won't deal with one-off orders of like 1 chip here or 2 chip here. But if you're a repair shop and you want to stock up, I'll probably do something where I go over that. But yeah, this just makes no sense to me. Like, what I see happening as a result of this are a lot more people buying from Amazon and eBay and less people buying from niche small businesses in other countries. That's just... And one of the arguments I remember reading a lot in my other video was a lot of people were saying that, well, when you sell something, you're undercutting a UK business, and that doesn't make sense. Why should they not have to pay tax? And I go, no, they do. They pay a customs fee. But also, I mean, we don't really undercut businesses in the UK. I mean, think about it. You're buying something that's cost 1 ounce from me, and I have to ship that item 6,000 or 8,000 miles away. That's 6,000 or 8,000 miles of shipping. Whatever I undercut someone in the UK, which I'm not even undercutting people in the UK, is more than compensated for by the fact that they have to pay international shipping and wait 2 to 3 weeks. And customers that purchase items from me in Germany or France or the UK they would much prefer to buy an item locally. They're buying it from me because it's not available in your country, even at a higher price. So it's just something to keep in mind. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something, especially EU regulators. Please, I beg of you, consider undoing this. This is just... all this is going to do is lead to more sales from large monopoly companies at the expense of small businesses that so many of these governments pretend they care about when their actions and their legislation makes it clear they don't. Mr. Clinton agrees with me. Don't Don't you, Clinton? Little Clinton? Little Clinton? Good boy.